Hey, what's up guys? John here. We are walking into what I believe could be 9.5 to possibly a 10% mortgage. This sounds pretty crazy. It sounds far-fetched. Well, right now, I'm going to lay out the case in point for why I think this is happening. Right now, if you have the average credit score in America, which is 698, per Google, you are looking at 8.137%. If you have perfect credit, you're looking almost 7%. But there's some really big caveats, really big curveballs coming, especially due to the inflation numbers, due to consumer spending, and due to wages that the Fed has been trying to combat. And because of that, what are they going to continue doing? Hiking interest rates, getting more and more aggressive. And so right now, if you were to buy a home, a $400,000 home, by the way, please hit the like button. Hit the like button. YouTube's going to share the content, educate more people about what's going on. If you want to fix your credit to take advantage of what I believe is going to be the greatest wealth transfer of all time, we'd love to help you at greatcreditfast.com. Schedule a consultation or free call. Greatcreditfast.com. We can see how we can help you. Take a look at this. So a $400,000 home price, if you have $80,000 in cash to put down, which is a lot of money, at a 9% interest rate, it's about $3,000 a month, $2,960. At an 8% rate, you're looking at $2,733. So basically an extra $170 a month. The average home price, the average mortgage right now is $2,651. This is a typical U.S. home buyer's monthly housing payment hit a record of $2,651 this week. $2,651. This is Redfin. The mortgage payment needed to buy a median price home for sale in the U.S. has moved up to $2,651. So you think about this, $2,651, and then you add in all the additional increased cost of living, food cost. Everything is much more expensive to be a property owner today than it was a few years ago. And so we start to move into a situation where the average home mortgage payment is $3,000 a month. What does that really mean for property owners that have properties that want to refinance? People essentially get locked in. They can't refi because they can't afford the mortgage rates. And as the cost of the world gets more expensive, people aren't going to have the equity. They're not going to be able to sell their properties. And we're going to see a huge opportunity here. Now, what I think is going to happen is I think commercial real estate, multifamily, it's going to get absolutely beaten. It's going to get beaten. And the reason for it is if mortgage rates go from 3% to 9%, say you have a $10 million multifamily building. Everyone was raising money the last few years, but say you have a $10 million, $20 million building, and the cost to borrow money tripled, or even say doubled, which it already did. What does that do to the asset value? Well, it greatly reduces the asset value because the cost to borrow money is going through the roof. Now, what I think would happen is at a 9% mortgage rate, that $10 million building would probably be worth $5 or $5.5 million. And so what does that look like? The person that bought a $10 million building would put $3 million down, hypothetically. They take a loan out for $7 million. Well, if that building is worth $5 or $5.5, they'd be upside down $2 million on that building. So when it comes time for them to refinance, they won't be able to unless they bring that $2 million plus another $1.5 million to the table. So they'd have to essentially bring $3 million to the table to be able to get the loan. People are just going to walk away because when you get those types of loans, you're getting a loan based on the asset, not based on your own ability to pay, like a home, right? So people just will walk away if it makes sense for them to do so. And that's what we're going to start walking into. And as that happens, regional banks are going to get hit. Large banks are going to get hit. They're going to start tightening up lending standards. So when it's hard to get access to money, that's when you're going to want access to money because there's going to be opportunity. Look at this. So inflation rose 0.4% in April and 4.7% from a year ago, according to a key gauge, right? So on the annual basis, the gauge increased 4.7%, a 0.1% point higher than expected, including food and energy. Headline PCE also rose 0.4% and was up 4.4% from a year ago, higher than the 4.2% rate in March. Despite higher inflation, consumer spending held up as personal income increased. Now, that is not what Jerome Powell wanted. Powell is determined to drive down wages. So if inflation is going up and wages are going up, what does that mean? They're going to get more and more aggressive. They're going to hold interest rates higher for longer. And so what does that look like? Well, it looks like pain. Pain is going to be coming to this economy. And they are talking about these strong job numbers. You know, what's fascinating here is they say that consumers are spending more. The cost of living has increased, right? They don't factor this in. They're probably spending what they were spending before, probably less because, you know, a lot of people are getting nervous about the economy. They're spending less, but everything is just costing more. So it looks like they're spending more, and they're using this data against us. Now, I've been talking on this channel for, maybe a year and a half, saying that what I think we're in right now is the greatest economic rug pull of all time. And I think that they essentially put all this money out in the system. They got everyone, drunk on this easy money. They kept interest rates at basically zero. They made everyone feel like a genius because everyone was making money in stocks and real estate and crypto and everything. Now what they're doing is they're slowly but surely pulling the rug. And so what you want to do is you want to be off the rug, and you want to be on the sidelines with a game plan, cash, credit, paying close attention, looking at what's going on, making smart investments, but being really strategic and not putting yourself into a position to where you could get overly exposed if this market gets completely rug pulled, which it looks like is happening right now. I believe they're going to likely hike interest rates again, probably a quarter point, maybe a little bit more, maybe a 50 basis point, probably 25, but maybe if that happens, I do believe they're going to hike again, and maybe one more time after that. And then what would that do to mortgage rates? We're going to see mortgage rates go a hell of a lot higher than 7%. That's if you are a perfect 820, 800 credit score. Most people are not. Most people are here at 8.137. Now, some loan officers might say, I can get you something for 7.5, or I can get you something for 7.75. I mean, it doesn't really matter. You're talking a quarter basis point. The numbers are going up. We're going to see mortgage rates, I believe, go into the 9s, probably high 8s next 90 days, and then possibly into the 9s, and then maybe even closer to 10% by the end of the year. But we are headed north. And as this is all happening, what a lot of people are not realizing is that all these other things around us are just gradually going up in price. And if real wages aren't keeping up and inflation is only going to get worse, what's going to happen with all these tens of millions of properties that have no equity, right? 18.1% of all home sales in 2022 were bought by investors, right? There was a mania between 2020 and 2022. Everyone was investing in real estate. 40% of all mortgages were taken out then, right? These record low interest rates and record high home prices. You have to ask yourself, if they bought them at these very low interest rates and really high home prices, what are they going to do as the market turns? They're going to list them for rent. That's what they're going to do, because if they don't have the option to sell them, people are going to start renting out their homes. And so if there's a flood of inventory that hits the housing market, even retirees that, maybe they had a retirement plan, but cost of living, everything's getting crazy. They don't want to sell their home because they don't know how long that money's going to last. They're going to rent their homes. People that lose their job, they're going to rent their homes. People that bought that second home, that Airbnb in South Florida, they're going to start trying to find long-term rentals if the economy changes and there's less tourism. A lot of people are going to start renting out their homes. And so if you have a multifamily property, like a lot of investors are buying the last few years, and you're looking at a situation where mortgage rates are going from 3% to 7%, and you're seeing rents potentially sagging more and more and more as there's more inventory, but insurance and property taxes are going up, and you bought that building at a 3% or 4% return, you don't have much room to move until you're operating in the red. And if you're operating in the red, there's only so long most people can do that. And so we're walking into what I believe is, without doubt, the greatest wealth transfer of all time. And if you're smart, if you're savvy, you're getting prepared now. You're getting prepared in advance, because who the hell can really afford this? Like at a $400,000 home price, $400,000 home price, which if you're in any city, if you're in any type of market outside of, certain little pockets in like the Midwest, $400,000 doesn't get you much. You really have to be, somewhere in the 500, 550 range to be able to get a home in most areas, right? And at 8%, you're looking at $3,400 a month just as your payment. That doesn't include repairing the property, fixing it up, landscaping, anything else that actually comes with being a property owner. $3,500, $3,800, $4,000 a month. Like, that's absolutely insane. You have to make $140,000 a year to be able to comfortably afford that, right? That's a lot of money. The average person in America is not making $80,000, $100,000 a year. They're making $50,000, right? $40,000, $50,000 a year. We are going to see problems, but with problems comes solutions, comes opportunity. And if you're paying close attention to this, it's obvious. Like, the big question I ask myself is, how could this not be true? What could happen in which I would be completely wrong here? Could we see a situation where they flood the entire economy with money and bring interest rates to near zero? Maybe, probably not though. I think that they're intentionally going to continue increasing and increasing and increasing interest rates for a reason. That's what I believe. I think they're going to continue to increase interest rates throughout 2023. Maybe in 2024, they pull back. Possibly. Maybe right before the election. Maybe they're like, we want to stimulate the economy. We want everything to look good then. But by then, you do this for another 6 months. This whole thing's falling apart. What do you think about it? Drop it below. Hit the like button. Subscribe here. I have a podcast episode dropping today as well. And if you want to fix your credit, you want to take advantage of what I believe is going to be the greatest wealth transfer of all time. Maybe you have credit card debt. Maybe you have a situation in which you want to clean up. We would love to help fix your credit. Maybe you can then get qualified and get approved for a balance transfer to transfer that debt to a 0% interest card. Now's the time to really clean everything up. Huge opportunities coming. GreatCreditFast.com. That's GreatCreditFast.com. Give us a call, 561-430-5900. Catch you guys in the next video.